So
Yeah, good.
dynamic feedback is important because ChatGPT and OpenAI as of last March were creating as much content as we have created since like since the printing press, like every 2 weeks, right? So they don't own that content, of course, but they used it to train their models. So if they have a huge copyright risk and they can't necessarily utilize that, or they can potentially use it with the likelihood of getting defrauded, whatever, or charged with fraud, or charged with at least copyright violations. If they put in a really hefty, cool feedback loop and they're analyzing all of the content they're generating and how significant everybody's feedback is to it, they don't necessarily need the original content anymore. If they already know how to make the decision really well, what do you care if you have the original article? If I can generate something that's really close to it and really interesting and really useful, awesome. So when you come in, the significance of owning the content, or at least understanding what was generated and how significant the feedback loop is, you can actually start to say, well, I don't even know what I could potentially look at that from a software, like coming a data scientist's role, and say, I may not even need to know what the prompt was. If I get the feedback that it was really good at it, and I can cluster that and say, hey, we're really good at creating marketing copy, I can go sell that to anyone who needs to create marketing copy, and I don't necessarily need to know what they're using it for or track the other things that might get me in trouble. So ChatGPT at that point is potentially creating its own training content. That's why it wants you to use it. That's why it's selling its product at more than half, at less than half the cost it takes to operate it. Everything it's selling right now is at a loss because it's building and developing an original training data set, not based off the New York Times, but what other people gave feedback to what it generated when copying the New York Times. So those feedback loops actually start to tell you, okay, how are we going to build something that's really useful? What are we really good at? And then how do we go and monetize that?